Ahoy mateys! Today we'll be creating treasure maps. What you need for today's activity is a piece of paper, pencil with an eraser, crayons or colored pencils, a pen or a Sharpie, brown paint or brewed coffee or brewed black tea, cup, brush, and it's optional to have a string. For step 1, you want to draw islands. Your islands want to fill the page as much as possible, and then around the islands you want to add a little bit of ways to represent water. Please leave space in one of the corners for a compass. Remember, as I am drawing today, you want to use your own creativity to come up with your own unique ideas and details in your artwork. In one of the corners, you want to draw a rose compass. You can look at the example here, or you can look up an idea online. Now we're going to start drawing our geographic details onto our islands and water. I'm going to show you some examples here, but as always, feel free to add your own details and ideas to represent details on your map. The first example drawn is a volcano or mountains. Next, I drew parts of a ship to represent a shipwreck on one of the beaches. You can add details like trees. You can add a river or a waterfall. Other details in the water like shark fins. You can add a pirate ship coming up to the coast where you might start your treasure hunt. Maybe rocks. Maybe even a village or an area where people would camp or live. I added a mermaid fin for my mermaid bay where my waterfall would be. I added a graveyard. And last but certainly not least, you want to have a starting point with a dotted line that leads to where the treasure is buried with an X. Think about the challenges you will go through to reach your treasure. Next, you want to add either colored pencils or crayons to completely color in your map. Once your map is colored in, you want to very carefully peel and pick the papers around the edges so it has a rough look. Be careful not to mess up the map. Then you're going to take your paper and you're going to ball it up. It's going to feel very strange to ball up this very new special artwork, but the reason for this is because it's going to make your paper look worn and torn like it's an old treasure map. It's going to put lines and creases and folds into your artwork so that when you open it back up, it's going to look old. Now you're going to make sure you have your brown mixture prepared. You can either take some brown paint and mix it in a cup with water. You can use brewed coffee, or you can use brewed tea. If you use brewed coffee or brewed tea, you do want it pretty dark brown if possible, and you want to make sure that it's not too hot when you use it. We're going to be painting our brown tint or color over our artwork, but you also have the option to maybe dip it into the artwork. But first, before you do that, you want to make sure that you practice on a piece of paper to see how dark your brown is. You don't want it so dark that you can't see the paper, the treasure map underneath. So you want it to just give it kind of like a hint or a tone of light brown. Once you have practiced on an extra sheet of paper, you feel confident that it's the right tone of brown, you then can paint it over your map or dip it into the brown. After that, you're going to allow plenty of time for it to completely dry. But once it is dry, I really try to encourage my friends to then go in with a black pen or Sharpie or even your coloring supplies and go over any details that maybe got too faded with the brown. But once you've done that, you're all done, friends, and I cannot wait until I get to see yours. But optionally, you can also use a string by rolling up your map and tying it off to look like a special secret treasure map.